Good morning, Facebook family and YouTube subscribers. Today is Monday. It is June 16th of the year 2014. Over the weekend, I had the pleasure of catching a couple of religious programs as I was flipping through channels. And two programs, two or three, all were talking about generational curses. And it got me to thinking, because I'm not really a religious person. I grew up in a household with an extremely religious mother, like many African Americans, and I had a very superstitious father. That makes for an interesting childhood. On one hand, you have a very religious mother in the Bible, Jesus. She's just very extremely religious. Then on the other hand, I have a father who believes in superstitious curses, voodoo, and all this good stuff. And that all begins to have an effect up here mentally. So let's take a look at the generational curse. What is it? Well, according to a religious website, I'm not going to say the name of it, you can Google generational curse, because I was trying to figure out where did this first come from, who thought of this term generational curse, and why, where it originate from. So let's just read what they say what a generational curse is. Have you ever seen a family where the father has a problem with uncontrollable anger? His son seems to have been handed it, and the grandfather had the same problem. Or have you noticed that not only do you suffer from something such as persistent irrational fears or depression, but your mother and father also suffered from it as well? There are many people today who are living under bondage that the sins of their forefathers has brought against them. Alright, so say for example, your mother or father were alcoholics and you ended up being an alcoholic, or your mother and father suffered from bipolar disorder or any type of mental disorder, and you ended up inheriting this trait. They're trying to say that something that you might inherit, which is in your DNA. There's a known fact that many alcoholics are drug users get this inherit this trait from their mother, father, or grandpa. Sometimes it might even skip a generation or two, but this is something that's passed from family to family. So in the religious belief, this is a generational curse. So then he goes on to say the purpose of the generational curse. The purpose is that God would punish the future generations with the sins of their fathers. It's because of God's bitter hatred for sin. He would require somebody who practiced witchcraft to be put to death. Exodus 22:18. He knows that the one of the most prized possessions you have is your children. And therefore, it makes sin a lot harder to commit when you realize that you are not the only one that's being punished for it, and also your own children are going to pay the price for your foolishness. That's what I believe is the reason behind generational curse. The whole human race failed thanks to Adam's sin, for that matter. So Adam, whatever. All right, but I'm very curious about something. Let's take a look at the word generational. What does it mean? Let's break down generational and curse. Generation, the entire body of individuals born and living at about the same time. This is the definition of generational from the dictionary. The term of years, roughly 30 among human beings, accepted as the average period between the birth of the parents and the birth of their offspring. So they're trying to say in the dictionary that 30 years, the span of 30 years, is every generation is every 30 years. This was in the dictionary, so that's what they say. A group of individuals, most of whom are the same approximate age, having similar ideas, problems, attitudes, etc. A group of individuals belonging to a specific category at the same time. So this is generational. So let's look at curse. What is a curse? A curse, the expression of a wish that misfortune, evil, doom, etc. befall a person, group, etc. A formula or charm intended to cause such misfortune to another. The act of reciting a formula, a profane oath, curse word, an evil that has been invoked upon one. So a curse is somebody has cursed you, and it's generational. Where to even begin? Because the reason why I wanted to go in a little in depth, because so many people watch these religious programs, and it may not even realize that the generational curse which is affecting so many people today is religion. Religion is a destructive force that we have to deal with. I grew up in a household with a very religious mother, and my mother didn't realize the damage that she was doing to her own family, her children, her husband, her own relatives because of her insanely religious behavior. My father was a very superstitious person. Superstitions kind of fall into that same context as religion, now they're a little different. He believed that people could put roots or curses or just all types of doom could come to some person by this, I don't know how, just very, very superstitious. So when you grow up in a household like that, I had to make a decision as a young child. Do I walk down the same path as my mother and be extremely religious to the point that it is detrimental to my own existence? Or go down the same path as my father, who was so superstitious that he would even drive down the street if a black cat just so happened to walk across the street his path, he'd turn the car around and go back home. Do I want to live my life under those two controlling, oppressive behaviors? Because it is a behavior. I broke free from that generational curse. I could not live my life under religion or superstitions. I couldn't take this to another generation. That generational curse, for me, I broke free from it. I don't believe in religion. I don't believe in superstition. And it has been the most profound things in my life that kept me grounded and centered in reality. Can you imagine? And I have nothing against people who believe in religion. Oh, yes, I do. But I don't. To me, religion is false. Just like superstitions are false. Just like curses are false. All this stuff that we're indoctrinated and brainwashed to believe as little children can have such a negative, profound effect on our lives, and thus begins the generational curse if you don't know how to break free from it. And I knew as a little kid I could not go down the path my mother was going down and continues to go down to this day, and I knew I could not also go down the path my father was going down, and the path that he went down right up to his death, believing in such superstitious behavior. Both of them were just too far living in a fantasy world that dictated and controlled their lives. My father just learned superstitious behavior from his parents, who learned it from their parents, who learned it from their parents. My mother learned religious behavior from her mother and father, who they learned from their mother. All this stuff has been passed down from generation to generation to generation to generation, and I had to stop it. I said, no more. This is it. Then the buck stops here with Walter Hampton. I'm done. I don't believe in religion. I don't believe in superstitious behavior. No, a black cat will run across that street, I keep right on driving down that damn street. I'm still here living alive today. I think my life has been more happier without the confines of religion or superstition. The generational curse has been broken. I know so many of my friends who are suffering from drugs, drinking, so many different issues. And then when I ask them, did your parents have the same problem? And they shake their head, yeah, my father was a drinker, my mother used to drink, and my mother did drugs, and my grandfather did drugs, but they don't realize they're walking down the exact same path that their parents went down. The exact same path. They don't realize that they need to seek help. I sought help to break free from religion and superstitious behavior. I was under the care of a psychiatrist for many years. It took that long for me to break the brainwashing in my mind. And there were days on Friday the 13th I was afraid to leave the house. Afraid. because this information was put into my head by my father. And so I was very dangerously walking down that same path. My sisters were, oh my goodness, very superstitious. They didn't know how to break free. They didn't know how to end the generational curse. I'm not a fan of some of this new wave stuff. People like the term generational curse. But I don't believe curses exist. But I do believe that people do inherit certain DNA passed down from their parents. They are your parents. In many instances, I'm very similar to my mother and father. I inherit their traits. But I had to learn to break free from certain things, to free my mind to live a normal life without the baggage my parents and generations before them handed down to me. I ended my generational curse with religion. Take a look at your life. Take a look around you and ask yourself, am I stuck in a generational curse? Are the behaviors of my parents and my grandparents affecting me today in 2014? Take a look around at your life and you might be surprised at how your ancestors' behaviors, thoughts, and religions or religious beliefs. So many African Americans are trapped in religion. Trapped. They don't know how to break free. And it can be very difficult to break free from it, I know. Because it took me a while. I grew up as a Jehovah's Witness. It took me a while to break free from that thought process. And now, like I said, I had to seek professional help to get me through that process and to free my mind so that I can live a normal life. Break the generational curses, guys. I don't believe in curses, but I do believe that there are things that are passed down from generation to generation that can have a negative effect on your life. Anyway, if you like my videos, please click like. I'm out of here. I'm about to go enjoy my Monday. Heading to the gym before it gets too hot outside. Share my videos with family members and friends, and share with me what you think about generational curses or the baggage that's passed down from generation to generation from our ancestors, from our parents and grandparents. Are you working to break free from that mess? I hope so. Anyway, if you like my videos, again, click like. I'm out of here. Have a great Monday.